All right, I'm gonna try to do another video on this box. We already had archery in the title, so kind of a typical arrow box competition shooters would use that you'd see back in the 40s and 50s, maybe in the 60s. I've seen these boxes in more factory made than this one, and in better woods. It's just pine. It looks like it's homemade. It's a very interesting set. Somebody obviously loved it and used it a lot. I mean, every day, every weekend, every day for years. And you see the wear and tear on this set. Well, let's go ahead and show it to you. It does have some surprises compared to just a normal arrow box. All right. The arrows are quite unusual. Oh, sorry, I don't have a cameraman. This is a very early set of Easton arrows, competition arrows from the Easton Company. These were made in the late 40s, from what I can find out. Probably just after the war they started doing them. Easton was the first maker of aluminum arrows that I know of, and my suspicion is they had plenty of workers that knew how to work aluminum and plenty of aluminum laying around that could get cheap after the war. These are all numbered. It's an entire set, 1 through 12. They're in good condition. When I got them, the fletching was just worn completely out, and I'm sure they had been refletched in the past. I believe these were originally done in red and white. These feathers are very close to the feathers that I found on these. I got these in China, and they really match really perfectly. I don't have any of them left with the original fletching on. They were all totally gone. These are field point, very thin. I think they're 25 inch. Like I said, it is a complete set, 1 through 12. They're straight, they're not bent, not chewed up, shot at trees or anything like that. I think somebody did take care of them. They used them all the time. I have not shot any of these arrows yet. I'm a little afraid to. I'd hate to damage one. I think I need to get a bigger target before I do, to make sure I don't, miss a target and do an overrun. The little stand they're in, I think, is just lathe, just wall lathe. I think it may have even been from a tear out, because someone's got a little paint on the back of it. Now it's simply made. The box too. Show the box a little closer. So some hardware on it. They used to make plans for these boxes you could get in some archery magazines. I think Popular Mechanics and Boys Life maybe had some plans for boxes like this. It's pretty heavy. Had something stapled to it, an ID tag, maybe a scorecard. It's had some repairs there. That's been repaired on the inside. This side needs to be repaired. And if I've got enough light in here to pick this up, you can see it's kind of pulling away there. I'll look inside the box. Came with a lot of stuff. I'll show you that in a second. That's the inside repair there. You see what they've done, a piano hinge, all full length. And this was the big surprise that came out of this. Let me put the camera back on the tripod. This case or bag did not come with it. I made that just for something to put this in, and what it is a 2-piece carriage bowl. I don't know who made this. It's not have any markings left on it. It's been used so heavily. There's no chance it would have any kind of marking left on it or a sticker. It's not going to happen. It's typical carriage bow style, like the English did, but usually this part here, the male part, would be brass, and this one's not. Iron, female portion here, wrapped in leather. The bow itself is wrapped in sinew, backed in sinew. I don't know if that's original or not. Could have been. It fits, the way it fits together, it almost needs that backing on that portion for it to fit well. So it may have been originally backed with sinew. I think it's backstrap sinew off a large deer or something, cow, who knows. When I got it, the sinew was very, very deteriorated, very dry and flaky, powdery and fluffy, coming off in a few places, delaminated. What I did was relaminate it with high glue, tight bond high glue, and it did a really good job. It's remained sticky, a little splotchy too. But I oiled it with butcher block oil, and that took the stickiness away, the tackiness. This sight was on there originally, wrapped in sinew or catgut on this end and screwed on this end. I had to dismount it for to do the refinish on the backing. You can see some of the wear here where the arrow leaves the bow. This groove is cut very deeply, and it was reinforced with, I think, more sinew and then glued, and it was still even quite indented, and I reinforced it with a little bit more glue to kind of build that surface up a little bit. I'll rewrap this a little bit better. It's just something I did just to tie it on with some old wax string. This bow was repaired sometime a long time ago with either sinew string or catgut, I'm not sure. You can't see it on the camera, but if you look really closely with a magnifier, you can see that it has a little crack that was starting there, probably vibrated and buzzed a little bit. I have strung this bow and shot it. I want to do a video on it shooting. It's a little scary stringing it first time, but it seems to be fine. It doesn't have any unusual vibrations or creaking or cracking or anything when it's drawn. I think this has been a good repair. I didn't remove it or change it in any way. I just reinforced it with that high glue. Sight on it. It's called a tape-on sight or a screw-on sight. You can drill a hole here and screw it on if you want to. It originally had, I think, inner tube pads underneath it, rubber inner tube pads. I've just used pieces of leather underneath it. I've tried it a couple of times using that sight. I haven't really gotten used to it. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with it. And the bow also came with a whole bunch of other sight apertures and accessories. I'm going to do a separate video on them. There's so many of them. They're so different. And a whole nother one of these sights. So this one's in a little better condition. 66-inch bow. I'm going to guess, it's a longbow style. It's not recurve. I'm going to guess it's shooting at about 30 pounds, maybe a little more. I think it's hickory, not sure. I know that Bear and some of the other early makers did do some wood takedown bows like this in the carriage bow styles. The ones I've seen have all been fiberglass, but I did a lot of research trying to figure out exactly where this came from. I really couldn't really come up with much. I think they did do some wooden ones that were this takedown style. Fits in the box real nice. It's really a